Hey everyone, Cindy here. I'm going to go live with Instagram too. Got this new handy dandy thing here. I've got my sweater on because it's kind of chilly today here in Southern California, and I'll shut up about the weather. Okay, so I hope everybody's doing great on this Monday. Happy Monday. How are you guys? I would love to hear from you. Let me know if you're here live or if you're listening to the replay or watching the replay. Anyone out there? And what I'm going to talk about today is healthy relationship habits. And these may be habits that you think aren't necessarily healthy. You may think that they're not the best thing to do when in fact they are. So there are some obvious ones, and I would love to hear back from you actually about what relationship habits that you've exercised that you felt have been the most healthy for you, because my goal here is to be a ripple effect and help as many people out there as possible to create the healthiest habits in relationship. And sometimes the healthiest habits aren't always the easiest in the beginning, and like anything else, the more we do it, the easier it becomes. So at any rate, again, Instagram, we're talking about healthy relationship patterns, healthy relationship habits. So I'm going to share one with you, and I hear this a lot from the women I work with. And I actually hear a lot of resistance around this. So I'll share this with you. Hey, Lori. Oh, good. I wanted to ask you guys, can you hear me today? From what I understand, there was a little bit of issue with hearing me yesterday. And don't you guys worry, because I will catch that live later on this week. I'll redo it. It was a really important one, and I want to make sure that you get the information. So I'm happy to see you here live, Lori. Love it. You're in it. So awesome, and thank you so much for letting me know, everyone, because until my team uploaded it, I probably wouldn't have known. So anyways, let's move forward around 3 healthy relationship habits. So the first one is, it's about not responding right away. In other words, honoring yourself. So meaning, we live in a society where we can easily get in touch with someone, right? We can text message, email, call. There's always ways to get in touch with one another. And if your partner texts you, hi, how's your day? Or in the case of many of my clients, they're dating and, getting closer to someone new. So this is something to exercise when you're in the courtship process, as well as in the process. I'm looking back and forth, Instagram, and I'm looking at Facebook. I'm trying to figure out my whole system here. So bear with me. I'll get it all dialed in eventually. So at any rate, now we're shaking. At any rate, so if your partner or the object of your desire texts you and you happen to be busy, not responding right away is really powerful. 1, it honors yourself. And 2, let me ask you a question. Do you respond to your friends right away? Do you respond to your friends right away? I mean, sometimes yes, and sometimes no. You might be in the middle of something. You might be, who knows, you might be busy with something else. Honor yourself. You don't have to trip over yourself or your phone to get back to them. They're still going to be there in an hour, 2 hours, even 3 hours. In fact, it's better to wait an hour before answering. If you're able to answer and it's a quick message, sure. But it's not about tripping over yourself to do so. So a lot of people get anxiety around not responding right away because inadvertently the mind goes to, well, what if he thinks I'm not interested? What if he forgets about me? What if I upset him? And all of those things are probably not going to happen. Number one reason why is because I can tell you this. Men are, how should I say this? Men tend to be very, very good at taking care of themselves, even better than we are. So have you ever messaged your guy, oh, what time was it that we were supposed to get together, tonight? And he doesn't respond to you for several hours. It's not because he doesn't care. He's going to reach back out to you. It's because he's busy. He's in the middle of something. And men are single focused. So for you ladies, utilizing that actually makes a man more curious. Because if you've always had the pattern of being right there or reaching right back out to them, one, it actually, it disrupts the tension within your relationship. So what I mean by tension is it doesn't make him as curious, because men are hunters by nature. Even if you're in relationship forever, if you're always predictable, and I'm not saying this for a game, but as a strategy of also taking care of yourself, he's really attracted to that. So he was really attracted to the woman he met. And have you changed a lot from that woman he met? You may have, and it may be positive. Maybe you've, grown a lot in your career, or you guys have started a family, who knows? Or you're in the infancy stage of getting to know him. Men are really attracted to women who have their own lives. So yes, that is a healthy relationship tip, is having your own life outside of them, not being enmeshed or codependent. That is, I hope that makes sense. I hope hope you understand that piece. There is, it's really, really important to, okay, I'm reading what Lori has to say here. Yep. And the thing is that it's good to also communicate too, Lori. If a man gets upset about you not responding as soon as he'd like, sometimes they do. And it's okay to say something along the lines of, oh gosh, I am really interested in getting to know you more. Like you, I have a busy life outside of, our connection. And, that can, like, as you well pointed out, Lori, that well can be a sign of other things that may or may not be something that you really want to listen, that you really want to get into. But, men get triggered too. They have, they have self-worth stuff that comes up. Men start to think, oh gosh, maybe she's not interested. It seemed like she was really interested in our date, and then it took her several hours or a day to respond to me, and she hasn't responded to my last couple of texts. Believe it or not, men feel the same way. It comes across a bit different. And if we could communicate our way through that, you never know what can open up. So it could actually be a really good, beautiful conversation that can be had. So that's one. And you did kind of hear me put in another one around having your own life. The second one I want to talk about, and this is so important, and it leads into something else, but it's being honest. And honesty and authenticity when it comes to relationships is so important. Not being honest about every little thing, because frankly, you're going to drive someone away, right? Maybe it drives you nuts that he leaves his socks on the floor, or he does, whatever, cap off the toothpaste. It could be a million different things, but if you focus on all of the little things that kind of drive you nuts, then that is going to definitely bring you further apart. It's being honest about, things that you could see as potential real issues or things that are coming up for you around the relationship. And it doesn't have to be a big thing, because communication and honest communication is so important, because then if you can be transparent in an unemotional way, right? That's the key, an unemotional way, you guys. So whatever you're wanting to be honest about, and it could feel like a huge mountain to you, and when in reality, it's not that big of a deal, right? So in reality, it's not that big of a deal. So I hope you guys can see and hear me, yes. So the thing about this is getting really clear on what's coming up for you. So actually even taking a few moments to write that down. Let's just say what's coming up for you is you feel like you're not spending enough time together, and you feel like through not spending enough time, your relationship isn't growing in the manner that you would love to see it grow, right? So write down with yourself, okay, so what's coming up for me? I would like to spend more time together. Why is that important to me? I feel like it would bring us closer. So write that down. I feel like it would bring us closer. And what it would provide for me is us moving forward in our relationship rather than feeling like we're stagnating, right? And when you're honest, you want to be honest in a positive light. I like, because there's nothing worse than saying to someone, maybe he's been, and look at the situation, look at what's happening, right? Maybe he's been on business travel for the last 2 to 3 weeks back to back. It just happens to be a crazy month, right? And so you've got to look at the whole picture. So what is it that you want to communicate about that maybe you're getting backed up about? Because being honest is so key to having the kind of relationship that fills your heart up, you feel connected with, and vice versa. Because men can sense it if you're holding back, if you're not expressing yourself. Now, if he's been traveling for the last 3 weeks and he can't help that, so you look at the situation, right? And then in the spirit of being honest, instead of making someone feel bad, because we can do that inadvertently without trying to. So we could say things like, gosh, it'd sure be nice if we spent more time together, when in his mind, he wants to make you happy. And if he hears things like this enough, like how you think of how that would feel for you if it were circumstances out of your control. How would you feel? You might feel, oh gosh, like I don't know if I can do that or make you happy. And as for women, it goes the same way, and he will start to retreat and actually give up. But if you say, look, I know you've been traveling a lot, and I would love to figure out some good quality time that we could spend together because I miss you. And it always makes me so happy when we get to spend our quality time together, whatever that looks like, right? So what that type of short sentence will do, it can open him up and give him space to actually provide that for you because he knows that's what you want. And it may not happen always in the timeline that you want it to. And breathe and be patient around that, because if he's a partner or someone that's moving towards partnership, he really does want to provide the things that make you happy. Okay, too. And you guys, if there's any questions that come up, comments, anything, feel free to ask the questions. We'll definitely make sure we answer. So those are two. Number 3. And I want to say this too, without, there's a lot of healthy relationship habits out there. There are a lot of things that you can do, that you can create within your own relationship that work well for you. And these are things that I've seen proven time and time again that are actually almost mandatory in creating the kind of healthy bond that's sustaining for long-term partnership. So the other one is self-care. And you might think, okay, well, I do self-care. Great. You probably do, and that's amazing. Or maybe, sorry, I'm shaking again. I'm not shaking, the table shaking. You guys should see my setup. But anyways, I digress. So a lot of selfish people think that they do self-care. And so I'm going to repeat that line because this is really important. A lot of selfish people think that they are exercising self-care, when in fact, a selfish person is caught up in oneself, their own ideas, what's happening in their brain, how it's affecting them, right? Not that we're all not selfish to some degree, but a very selfish person is focused on that and might think that they're exercising self-care. Self-care equals ultimate self-love. So how do you exercise self-care, which equals self-love? That's a whole nother Facebook Live, but that really goes into the way that you treat yourself, how you take care of your mind, body, spirit, how you treat others. So putting the oxygen mask on your face first, and then moving forward from there. So the only way to really be able to love other people, to love someone else the way that you want to be loved, is actually to practice self-care and self-love. because the amount of which, and you may have read this before, you may have seen it, this may be landing for you right now, and I hope it is, because the amount of self-care that you exercise for yourself, that's what goes out into the world, and that's how much you can love another person. And it's, it's a ripple effect. It really is. So, oh, thanks for all the hearts, guys. But it's really, really, really true. And it's, ways to exercise self-care are, what are things in your life that you love doing or that make you feel good? Maybe even if you don't want to do them in the moment, that might be working out, that might be doing meditation, that might be doing things that feel good to your soul and ultimately make your day go a lot better. I can tell when I'm regularly not meditating. I remember, I think I might have shared this with you guys towards the end of last week. I literally felt like my son was having a PMS week because he was being so difficult, really hard in the morning. I wanted to roll up in a ball and cry on Friday morning, right before he left for school. And it was really quick and easy for me to shift out of it because I took a moment, I took a few deep breaths, because even if you don't have time, you can figure out ways to exercise self-care and self-love. For me, if I don't have a moment, and I did actually meditate that morning because it's almost like breathing for me. I love to do it. I love the effects on how much higher my brain functions and how much better I am in the world. So, and we can talk about brain functionality and how your brain chemistry can actually change through these sorts of exercises of self-care and the way that we receive love. So hearing that. So anyways, and those of you that have had children, I'm sure you know these moments, but I had that moment. I took a couple deep breaths, and I was blessed to get on calls with my clients, which always makes me happy, right? So it's, looking at what is self-care, and maybe your self-care, you feel like, oh, I love my work and that is self-care for me. And outside of your work, what are things you're doing to create that healthy mind, body, and spirit? Because it will make you have an easier time actually receiving love, receiving support, receiving help. And your man, or the men in your life, the man that you're dating, he wants to know ways where he can love you and support you, and really opening up to that vulnerably. And vulnerability is another way to actually create deep connected partnership. So you guys, and vulnerability again is another whole Facebook Live, but and many of my clients are strong independent women and struggle with this whole vulnerability thing, struggle with, what's too much to share, what's not enough, and what does that look like? So perfectionism is vulnerability. Like me right now, I didn't do my hair. You know why? Because I've been out since earlier this morning practicing self-care, doing things for me that were exercising self-care. So when I do that, it fills up my cup. And you guys, those are balances to creating healthy relationship habits. And some of these are not as obvious to everyone, because a lot of women, you know, we're doers. We like to people please. We like to make everyone happy. And the point is that if that self-care, if you're not loving yourself, something is going to, you know, something's going to fall through the cracks. And, you know, I want to add something to that too. It's, you know, I think a lot of people, when it comes to connection, long-term relationship, there's a feeling of need of the other person. Oh, I need him, or I need that. When in reality, that word is like nails on a chalkboard to me. I had somebody use that with me last week, and I thought, okay, so this is an opportunity for me to support them around, you know, naturally, maybe they want my support, but do they really need me? And looking at it from a you know, I'm me, you're you, and we're we. So an interdependent standpoint instead of coming into enmeshment, that can be dangerous as far as you know, putting a lot of cracks in our foundation if we've created healthy relationship patterns. And those things are, you know, remember what it was like when you first met that person. And maybe that was 20 years ago and you're like, well, we've got kids and things have changed, and that's okay. But what were some of the foundational things in your life that were important to you then? Chances are some of those things are going to be important to you now. Maybe they've evolved and shifted. So I've been talking a long time. I hope this has been helpful, and feel free to comment. Let me know if you have any big takeaways here, if this has been helpful for you. Also, feel free to send me a direct message. So happy you liked it. Feel free to send me a direct message around any questions about your dating, relationship stuff. I am here for you. I would love to email support you and you know, give you some extra love in this area of your life and help you to get to that next level of connection in your partnerships, because isn't that what we all desire? Anyways, again, thank you for being here, Instagram. Good to see everyone that's here. And you guys on Facebook, until tomorrow. Again, post below. My team will answer, not my team. I will be the one that answers. I'm used to saying that. So I will be the one that answers all of your questions, any of your private messages. I'm the only one that checks those. So let me know what I can support you with, anything around relationships. And let me know if you guys like having these. If you like me doing these Facebook Lives as often as I am. Okay? Sending lots of love. Have an amazing rest of your Monday. Bye.